Hello everyone, and welcome back to something a little different. So, let's jump right into it. Ever since I started writing and doing What the Emperor Should Have Done series, I've had a lot of people ask if I would do The Last Church. Now, I've thought about this one for a long time, but after watching a lovely visual version of it on YouTube, I'll actually put the link in the comments, brain's escaping me now, it got my mind up again, and I've come to the conclusion that I actually have no bloody clue how to do it. I've started writing it a couple of times, but I've hated every draft I've come up with, and even trying to ad-lib it, it doesn't flow. So it was an interesting thought, and I thought I'd like to, voice why I can't actually voice it. So, The Last Church, it's a very iconic and very regarded story, very Horus-Heresy story. Goes into a bit of the mind of the Emperor and his views on religion, and of course I think Uriah is a very good, other end of the coin to that. And it's interesting, someone commented that one of the most popular 40k stories out there is literally two old men debating philosophy in a room. Which is actually, it's a very interesting point, and it is that. But I've never been able to do it right. Now, my personal standpoint is, I'm on Uriah's side. I am actually quite religious myself. I don't really mention it, but I am quite religious myself, so I always fall on Uriah's side for that. Although I can see the Emperor's point. But what the Emperor should have done about that? I don't know. On paper, you'd think what the Emperor should have done is heeded Uriah's warnings or listened to Uriah more. The Emperor was never going to change his mind on religion. The Emperor was too stuck in his ways. So I didn't feel like when I was trying to write it that I could write a way for the Emperor to, see a different perspective. And again, I felt that Uriah, especially, he was convinced, but then his conviction set in and he walked into the fire to burn to death. I didn't feel that Uriah could come back from that. He could, stay with the Emperor. So I felt like neither side could truly win in that scenario. And trying to write it, it just came out wrong. And I was just unable to do it properly. So it's kind of been a big bugbear on my back, because people have been suggesting for me to do it. And it's one of those ones of, it's a popular story, it would be interesting to see a different take on it. It'd be interesting to see, what the Emperor, or Revelation, could have done differently. But it was incredibly hard for me to get it in a way that felt natural. I felt that the Emperor was too stuck in his ways, that for me to write him differently would not be the Emperor. It would just be my own personification of, my ideas through the Emperor. Whereas Uriah, I felt he couldn't be truly convinced, to follow the Emperor. So I didn't feel like there was any way that story could end other than how it ended in the actual story. So it's been bothering me and jumping around for quite a while. And in the end, I've concluded that I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do What the Emperor Should Have Done, The Last Church, because I don't feel I can do it justice. If someone comes out and does it, and it comes out brilliantly, then touche, bloody good job. But I don't feel I can write it properly. Again, I'm not the best writer in the first place, and that's such a quintessentially iconic 40k story that I have no clue how to write it. Now, I was tempted to ad-lib it, but again, when I was trying to ad-lib it, it wasn't flowing, and it was just too awkward. Because, fun fact, half of those stories, what the Emperor Should Have Done stories, are actually improv'd on the fly. I had an idea, turned my microphone on, and just talked. That's why you'll see some of them have a slightly different feel to the others, because some of them are written and some of them are improv'd. So, just a little insight into that. So this is just a justification as to why I don't feel I can do The Last Church justice. What the Emperor Should Have Done series, it is continuing. I ran out of steam for a while because I wasn't sure what to do. Some people were suggesting I do revisits on old stories, part 2s, but I felt like that was, I'd already told the story I wanted to tell. I'm not the Hollywood movie industry, I'm not going to rehash it. And there was no reason to do a part 2. Another suggestion was that I redo some of my earlier stories from back when they were pretty shit audio quality, I will say so myself. However, again, that falls into the trap of many of those don't have scripts because they were improv. So I could take those videos down, re-edit them and boost the audio, but that would be about what I could do because I don't have the original audio files and I don't have a script to redo it. So that's why I haven't done any of those. But what the Emperor should have done is continuing. And I am going to do that myself. I've actually contracted one of my Discord server guys to narrate all of my stories from now on, just because I feel my voice is not doing it justification enough. Except for the Emperor. What the Emperor should have done, and specifically the Emperor's voice, I really like my take on it, so I'm going to keep narrating those myself. But the rest of my 40k stories, I'm getting narrated by someone else, so I need to actually send him the first 2 scripts I've got and get that organized. So that is still continuing. It's just it'll take a little while. What the next What the Emperor Should Have Done stories is Magnus's Redemption. After reading the Magnus the Red Siege of Terror novella, it's fucking obvious what the Emperor should have done, and I am writing that story currently as to what the Emperor should have bloody done to get Magnus back on side and not being a fucking idiot about it. So yeah, that's the next one. I imagine maybe a week to 2 weeks, just depending on how motivated I can get on that one. So cheerio for indulging my rant, and I will see you again another time.